Hello, welcome to another podcast program of this, uh, I'd say, kind of political news thing I do feed here. I just discuss about different things, topics that kind of bother me in the media and things that are going on in America. So I come up here and I express myself on these videos. I share my opinion and I get some feedback sometimes now. So I must be doing something okay, but the top of my list that I had on top of here, I wasn't sure if people were going to be able to see that, but I wanted to talk about Greece. I don't know if you can see that. So, um, I wanted to talk about them and their situation and how similar they are to what's going on here in America today because they have a socialized system in their politics. So it's all completely political politics fiasco. So what they did was they just took a vote on it, like as if again, like with our Supreme Court here, they're playing politics over there with their economy, and they're saying that they voted against a bailout. They said no, don't. That means that they would have to go bankrupt, file some kind of bankruptcy, and they'd have to do some kind of start over or something like that. But instead, I'm hearing this morning that they're voting on a bailout measure now inside their government. So again, like here with our justices and our government here, it doesn't matter what you think. So we're talking about somebody attacking our religious freedom. Religious freedom. There's a Senator Tammy Baldwin. This article I looked up here on Life Site. It was written by Ben Johnson. It was it's I thought that it's USA Today. He is linked to USA Today partnership with them or something. He writes to them, and it's called U.S. Senator. Individuals don't have religious freedom, just churches do. And this person here, I'll do a screen share real quick. I'm gonna show. I told you that this not only is this new gay law going to give them marriage and something enforce possibly down the road churches to have the government's going to say, oh, you don't have a right to deny gay people the right for you to marry them, otherwise they'll go, these government officials, lefty loonies, are going to go after churches and pastors. And I'll show you, this is the first gay openly gay U.S. senator. She recently came up with this, and that's why I'm describing this video here left. There's it from the left. One's out of the bag. She let one out of the bag, so now we see why people are getting arrested in the country's capital, in D.C. and other places that are controlled majorly lefty loony. You know, like somebody sitting there praying is going to have some kind of negative effect or something like that. But the forefathers said the separation of church and state was so that the government could not come in and rule against the people for whatever particular religious freedom that they had. So any person for any religious personal religion purposes can go anywhere in America and can pray, and that is not a crime. But they're saying, these people right here are saying that it's not an individual right anymore. So now we know that the cat's out of the bag. But anyway, so not only is it going to force churches to um, perform gay marriages, and like if you do, they'll attempt to. The government's going to attempt to close churches, shut your religious thinking down. Um, they're going. It's also going to be a gateway for them to be able to fight polygamy in courts, from what I understand. So it's just all around very nasty socialistic scheme that we're seeing right now. It's um, kind of about almost unbearable. So so anyway, so now we're looking at. I wanted to talk a little bit about Hillary Clinton, and did the left set her up for, so like if they had a fall guy, or if they knew they were not going to win, because the left has a lot of shenanigans, and they actually give a lot of people the opportunity to wake up to realize that socialism is not for them, and that's not exactly what you wanted or what you thought was going to happen whenever they're selling you this stuff, this Obama stuff in '08. So now Hillary Clinton is just a little bit, she's the same exact left loony, I would say, but maybe her playbooks goes a different route. You know, instead of taxing people to death over healthcare, and scamming people who have jobs and pay for their health insurance and have for years now they're widely scammed for people that could have simply have went and got their own insurance for a lot less than what the government is actually charging them now. Now they went and said, yeah, we want Obama to force us to have health insurance that should have covered us anyways, and it's a monster because it's it's not going to help people get um, maybe it might maybe eventually do some preventative type of health, so keep prevents people from getting sick, and they can do some preventative types of checkups and exams and stuff for people instead of allowing people to get to the sick point. But it does have death panels, so the thing is basically kind of fascist in nature. It's socialism, evil socialism, or evil fascism in nature. The Obamacare language in the new medicine law that was constructed by Obama and the Democrats in 2010. To think that guy is so radical, he had a complete majority until 2000, past 2010. We changed it up a little bit, but he had power, complete power for 2 years, and still he could had took our guns away from us if there was a full Congress and full Senate and everything, and then the White House too could have made a new law taking everybody's guns away from them, and then you would have had uh, a civil dispute and people uprising, and there would have been definitely, and that's why the Democrats didn't. They knew that, but Obama is radical enough to where he'll go ahead and let us feud against ourselves and have another civil war because I really believe he thinks we're evil. So in '08, Bill Clinton went and supported Obama instead of Hillary Clinton. So is he, how much is he involved with this woman now, and was she kind of a scapegoat for them? Because everybody, I mean, if you haven't woken up to this point, you might get smacked, actually, physically smacked by somebody up to this point if you go and act all stupid in a conversation or something in public. with somebody, and somebody is like, you say something, somebody will get highly frustrated. Everybody knows that Obama is like a shadow government or something, and it's fake, and that they do not hold our interests, and that the people are really stupid, and they're morons if they don't know what's going on, and they sit there and play dumb like Obama is a good guy. It's just ridiculous. So the Confederate flag was removed the other day. That's right. So, and it was South Carolina. It was right after um, this racist pig, I don't know, this pig-headed kid went in, and doesn't strike me at all like, oh, he's just a kid or anything like that. I really, if I could get a ticket to go to his execution, I'd go watch his execution. I haven't ever watched anybody die except for a few people faces of death. I watched that movie a little bit, not within the last 15 years or so. I haven't been interested in morbid stuff like that, but I was when I was a teenager and stuff, goofing off. But I watched Saddam Hussein get hung. I watched that maybe 2 or 3 times, and I couldn't watch Gaddafi go down. I didn't even try. I was just like, that's ridiculous, because, in my opinion, the two they don't add up. People cannot say that Bush and Obama are the same exact government at all, and that right there is a indicator to me on how exactly true that is. Because in one regime or one leadership, Bush made the government and the people of Iraq and everybody there, um, unify, come together, vote. He helped bring a democracy there. And then also he helped bring a judicial type of like decision where all of us would be, if we had killed 1 million people, because we're talking about Saddam Hussein had killed roughly about, not if not 1 million people, he had killed up to about 900,000 people in his span of power that he was in. 900,000 to 1 million people. Just think about that. So he had a judge, an Iraqi judge, sentenced him. He got hung, and it was all supposed to be quiet also. So the video was a leaked video. They weren't supposed to tape it, but they taped it. We saw it. But anyways, the difference between one man being, if he was drug off, he should have been took off by the military. But what you saw with Obama and Benghazi in particular was they took Gaddafi out and then publicly executed him right on the spot. They didn't have, all these other procedures and everything that a democracy would have. And then they terrorized our embassy there with Obama. That would not have flown with the Republican, if a Republican were to have been president. So anyhow, I heard there was one embassy got attacked when Bush was there, and I'm not sure exactly what exactly happened, but there's supposed to be 50 Marines guarding all the embassies. And if any of our troops or any Americans are anywhere and there's a possible way of saving them, I believe that's what our government is especially there for, and they let people down. They let all of us down here, and they let the 4 people die, Americans that died in Benghazi also. So I see it being no different than that real slack, lazy, we've got some other things to do than to protect you people, and make us subjects now. So right there it was not Greece. Look at England socialism. I don't have enough time and I didn't do enough research on it, but I know a little bit about it. But all I'm going to say about England is their considered subjects over there. And over here, that is the reason for us having the Constitution, everything like that. So I asked a question the other day. Well, if they're saying like, well, the commandments, they take the 10 Commandments out of the state capitol. They take the 10 Commandments out of government buildings and other places like that. They're saying it's religious. I have an argument that they're saying that, well, it can also be defined just solely as a moral guide, like a moral compass. So it goes to show how um, practical, like immoral the Democrats are having everybody move and wants everybody to be, and is trying to basically glide on the winds of of definitely being immoral. So you have to think, if you're a parent, you have to really think about that in particular. Do you really want your children to be taught immorality? And if you could, what immoralities would you want or not want them to see? I wouldn't want any of them to see anything, but that they're going to eventually be hit with reality in the world, but just not before like they're 16 or something like that. And the whole world is not Amish, you know. I would prefer to like have a like Amish moment, but I'm up to par with, tractor, and I have a car, and I'm up to date with everybody else. But I do all of my um, own planting and gardening, and fend a lot for myself, raise animals, butcher the animals, go hunt for wild game, take care of my own self. And I would strive to have like a Ponderosa, like a place where I could go. I don't know if it's hot or cold or whatever, just know that it's wide and open. Vision dream that I have, to be able to go out there like Paul Bunyan or something like that, and be one with nature. I've always loved going out into the mountains and the hills. I'm from Oregon, so it has a lot to do with it. I've been up to North Umpqua a lot. So, anyways, so I'm getting a Confederate flag. So at first I was like saying, well, this is, and that's what happened. It doesn't mean that I don't disagree with it either. I'm just saying that the sheer fact of them making more out of the Confederate flag than they're just ridiculous about it. Um, is that well, basically white people allowed racist organizations in white race to use that and abuse the Confederate flag, when actually it doesn't mean to hold anything against black people or any people for Jews or anything like that. That is a lie. The Confederate flag basically was it was a representation of people being scammed and taken advantage of by the government. So maybe the left just learned about that, but the woman there in South Carolina, I believe, is a Republican governor. But anyhow, she basically, I'd say don't take the poll down. Don't take the poll down, because we're going to put that flag back up there eventually. Look up carpetbaggers. If you have any questions, anybody sees this video, do your own research on the Civil War and how the Civil War got started, because people will pass it along like it was slavery. but it was not over slavery. It was over the North oppressing the Southerners in business. They just sucked all of the finances and everything and taxed them to death in the South. How I explain it was they put a tariff or something, you know, they put liens and other things like that against the South, and that's their own countrymen back at that time, their own government, like as if the South was a foreign country that they were bickering with. So the North already treated the South like they were a foreign entity, a foreign country altogether. And that's the truth about the Confederate flag and how it came about. And it is not racist. They freed their slaves, the slaves, and made it illegal to own slaves in the South. What they did was, I believe, that everybody agreed on a certain time when slaves could not be purchased anymore. So they still had slaves, so they were moving towards that. Then, they said within 20 years from now, we want to make slavery illegal completely. So the South and the North were both on page with the same thing years and years before the Civil War even came about freeing slaves. People generally, um, no matter how they felt, they all agreed. The census all agreed, the South and the North together. Like I said, like 30 years at least before. Could have been 50 years, because like I said, 20 years, they said after they made purchasing slaves illegal, they said eventually 20 years from now, we're going to make slavery illegal altogether. You can't even own a slave because it's wrong. Is what they said. And then the South comes along, and all of a sudden now the North says different things. And it's not, at the time, it could have been the North that started the rumors, just Northerners in general. But now it's clever. They think they're clever politicians, like these ones that are saying now that we don't have religious freedoms. And I already told you that. So they're going to say, like, oh, a church. There's a difference between a pastor. He has to come from a church or something. How does a church have a religious freedom? You know? And not only that, but they're going to go after churches. Hillary Clinton gets elected. She might be the one that might be able to do it, to get churches and nonprofit places that are like food banks and stuff like that. They're going to be charged taxes by the government if people keep this left side leftist socialist scam going. So that that's why the personal attack on people's personal freedoms that we're given. Okay, and we'll explain the Constitution right now again before we lose the thought. The Constitution. So people come over here to get religious freedom, okay, from an oppressor from England, okay. They had the Church of England or something like that at the time, and they forced people to study that. And some of the first convoys of people that came over here were the Pilgrims, were Christians, and they didn't believe in. They believed in a separate type of religion and lifestyle. Oh, damn it. But anyway, so whatever. Guy puts his dog out and she goes barking at everything. I'll erase that and I'll fix this video eventually. So the Constitution. Now they're trying to take our moral compass away from society, so they want to take the commandments out of Capitol buildings, and they want to say you don't have religious freedom anymore. You can't pray in public, and that's a lie. So the people were put in chains. maybe some are executed, I believe, executed for having a separate view or way that they um, maybe prayed and whatnot was by the way that the Church of England wanted people, their subjects. We go back to the subjects. The subjects, not really individual people with rights. So our forefathers came over here, gave us individual personal rights that are being stripped away from us. And we see the same kind of tyrants, and they're going to keep seeing them if people keep voting for them. And they think that they're being supported doing their immoral things that they do every day. Like as if they're not being protected like that, and welfare is not already protected enough. So, they want to have their immorality protected. And whenever they say it comes to the Constitution and the amendments and everything, that there's more protection in being basically an immoral person than you'll ever get um, by being a moral person with the moral compass. Coming from a place that forced a certain particular religious view on people in particular. So whenever they say separation of church and state, reiterating this again, that it means that they want the government and tyrants, like these people that are saying that we don't have religious freedom anymore. They got us away from people like that over in England. So now we're seeing the same type of people here now today, except it's they're socialists, and they're homosexual or something deviant. So their immorality is there, and all I can say is it's it's really pretty disgusting. So I don't know what else more, how to really sum this up. They're saying, all I'm going to say to end this, and I'm going to go, is they're going to say that people who are gay have more individual rights than a Christian now. That wasn't even the way that it was even said or intended. I even just explain that. So, this back to the bakery now. So, they tell this gay people, no, we're Christians. We can't make you a gay cake. I said before, I said, well, I support them, but if I was a bakery or if I was in business, I would just make it and tell them to get the hell out of here. But then they'd tell their gay friends, as long as they didn't um, do something morbid or ask me to do something disgusting with the cake, then I'd be okay with it. But I still support them not doing that as a religious person of the people that own the bakery to refuse the right to refuse service to gay people. They should be able to do that. Their Christianity, the religion, should be able to basically one's constitution rights not more stronger than the other one, but politicians obviously that aren't religious, who don't know what they're doing, don't know about why the Constitution or how America was made or created or anything like that. When atheists did back in the day, they understood it completely. They want to say that being gay or some kind of sexual orientation now overweighs that and implodes the other one to where it blows up and it's no more. So now you know how the left moves. instead of their dirty rats. And so what did I say? Um, Now the bakery now is being told no, and they're all being discriminated against by people widely all over the place. If I was that bakery or whatever, I'd stick to my guns and my ground, and I would. Uh, I don't know if the ACLU is going to come to their knee. It sounds like they're not going to. When the crazy thing about them is they normally would, and it's even though some people wouldn't think that they would at all, but they would actually. They would intervene. I don't think that they're going to on this one. So all I can say is, was it ACLUJ, ACLJ or something? There's a lot of conservative organizations, legal firms that can help these people out. But I would do a counter suit on everybody else. Because also, one of the other grounds for doing that is gay people brought it all to the media's attention and then got awarded for damages that they brought on to by themselves. So, and the people were on the 700 Club. I heard, I didn't get to watch the episode, but somebody I know did, and they told me that, and they say, oh, they said that the church-going bakery people were given a gag order. So they weren't even allowed to even talk or speak about the thing publicly at all. So, but they were, um, I would say it's victimized. They were tragically victimized by this system where I'm from in Oregon. This complete socialist mess, chaos is what it is. So actually gave them a gag order and told the bakery they couldn't talk about nothing. But whenever it came down to it, um, the lefties, I guess you would say they're lefties, right? The gay people, the gay couple, gets to say whatever they want, and they just snowballed the whole entire thing, and then they got awarded the money. So I don't know. Talk about crybaby, and little crybabies being, it's. I don't know what's all wrong with this picture in society, but it's pretty terrible. But don't ever forget also what I said here in this video, that Bill Clinton helped Obama run in '08 instead of his wife. So they wanted maybe her or somebody at this point to be the fall guy, because enough people are going to be enough by 2016 elections to vote for something different. Talk about change. People will wake up and then they'll understand the actual intelligence that you need whenever you go and vote. You don't just go in half cocked, like I believe most people who vote for Obama or anybody from the left they're half cocked and they're not as intelligent. But as long as I've been living out here, I see a little bit of a difference between, I don't know if it's because the left pins the right or what, but it seems like the right has got out here, and have not ever voted for a liberal, ever one time, ever voted for a Democrat. I vote Republican all the way down the line, and I'll always continue to do that. I might decide maybe not to vote if I don't think it's worth even doing it, but as far as I know, I'm gonna be there and vote. But I was saying, out here, there's a little bit of a difference, and I can tell why some people vote Democrat out here, anyways. Even though you see an extreme bulldozing by the government, and it's like wildy stuff. Like, you went and voted for gay marriage. How come the Supreme Court doesn't go vote and then rule to legalize marijuana and then have them tax it and then also treat it like alcohol? How come they didn't do that? Instead, they bamboozled us. Bamboozled us. And there's got to be a way that we can change some things and change the unfairness here. Now, the people that, a guy who has not ever shown his birth certificate, so the left wants to argue about that and call us names and rag us out about saying something about Obama's not having a birth certificate. Well, if he's got one, let's see an authentic one, right? So you have this guy who is not even an American come in, appoint justices that are going to be there forever until they die. And they're both maybe lesbians. And not only that, but maybe they wish they were lesbians. Maybe they can't get a partner or something like that. I don't know, but it's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say nothing sickening or anything like that. All I'm saying is they've spoke out about same-sex marriage and they've given their opinion and have given very leftist, very far out there left ideas that made Obama choose the way that he decided to pick the two justices that are on the on the justice panel now, that are our justices for life. They should ought to be able to be revoked and be taken off of the Supreme Court because they are liars. They're stuff that they wouldn't let the Republicans ever get away with in a million years. Say have know exactly where you're coming from, know exactly how you're going to vote, what you're going to say, exactly what they're going to say, how these appointed justices are going to speak even. So you shouldn't even really know exactly what the guy is going to say. You know that he's coming from a conservative perspective if they're appointed by Bush or Republican, but they're not as outspoken. They're not outspoken. If they have spoken about something, from what I understand, they do the legal thing, and that's to opt out of voting for something, and that's doing the right thing. So still, people get chastised for going by the book or doing things right, going to a job or going to work or doing whatever you do and live your life straight up and just trying to be a human being and live. You're going to be attacked to the point where I'm not sure if they want it like North Korea or how the left wants to paint this socialist picture that takes all your religious freedoms away and then broadcast propaganda that pumps this propaganda into your melons, into everybody's melon. So now I'm a Christian, say, and now I look at all of the people that aren't going to be able to hear the word of Christ or anything religious at all, whatever it is. Now they have to be forced propaganda from the government because they are not religious. I don't know if Obama thinks he's some Muslim, a demagogue, and a Christian all in one, or what he thinks, or if he thinks he's all the world's religions all in one. Who thinks he's got to solve everybody's problems? But I know he believes that everybody must think like him. It's in his book. I haven't mentioned that for a while, but if you go read his book, you go get his book, you will be confused. Because this guy is a Marxist, leftist, left-wing nutball. And people everybody warn from the right that knew what was going on warned about the guy. So, but you know where McCain stands. McCain, I don't know if he's a Christian or not, but I know McCain stands at a progressive perspective also. So we weren't really given um, the right choice at the time. That's another reason why I was hoping that everybody would register as a Republican so that you could get the Republican in there that everybody votes for in the primary before the election. So anyhow, there's so many differences. It's not even funny, you know. And some politicians may go along with the status quo because there's really not much that they can do. But I know that some people stand their ground, are doing the right thing. A lot of them get chastised to the point where it doesn't work out for them, and they wind up getting voted out or something like that. So because they didn't go with the status quo. So this is a point in time that we live in where a lot of baloney can be told to people. Unless you do a lot of researches on your own, if you see this video, you might have a chance to look up certain things if you have questions, you know. And I'm that type of person where I would appreciate people doing their own research and homework on things that would seem important to you instead of just thinking one way. Go and make sure that you're right. That maybe you might have a certain gut instinct. I've been wrong before, so and the only reason why I knew that I was wrong is because I went double check to make sure. So anyhow, I think I'm gonna let that one go there. It's pretty much a lot of stuff that I was saying. So anyhow, have a good day, Saturday, right? Saturday, 7/11/2015, and be conscientious whenever you're thinking about politics and what's going on around. Thanks.